Oh yeah,
I
I
also
love
want
the
to ask you guys a question, like which franchise is your favorite? Like if you had like one movie franchise that you and non-Marvel movie franchise that you really love.
Franchise.
Mhm.
I mean, Star Wars. Even though like they messed up the sequels, I don't like it, but I still love Star Wars.
Yeah, but
You
you
know,
that's a cop out. Star Wars is a cop
it
out.
is. But I think once you get into franchises are usually so big
Well,
that
I mean, you got John Wick,
you know
got the Matrix.
the Matrix.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's another one that's really good.
my favorite, the Bourne series. I everything. Bourne Legacy doesn't count because that wasn't him, so that doesn't count. I love the Bourne. You have the Dark Knight series with for Batman. I mean, you have. I mean, there are a lot of series out there, but which one's your absolute favorite? Terminator,
Mm.
just terrible.
Mm.
I
Yeah, I
would
wouldn't-
say, even though the last movie wasn't that great, and I don't really have hopes for the next one with no Steven Spielberg, I'm gonna have to say Indiana Jones. Um,
Mm.
I love adventure movies. I love retro style adventure movies. I loved the Young Indiana Jones Chronicles, and I think as a whole, and a lot of franchises, most franchises are inevitably without they're never without their low points. And even though
Yeah.
Kingdom of the Crystal Skull was very much a low point,
That's the
there
lowest.
were parts that I still found kind of watchable enough. Some of them. So let me stress that. And I really don't have high hopes for the fifth one whenever it comes out with no Steven Spielberg directing. Um, I like James Mangold as a director, even though I haven't and have no interest in ever watching the movie Logan.
Hey!
Really? Wait, you never seen
That
Logan?
is the most
No.
epic movie.
Wow.
Yeah, and I've heard great things about it, and I'm happy that I've heard so many great things. But the Fox X-Men movies just left me so burned out and fatigued of the character of Wolverine.
But it was the only good one. It was literally the only good one.
Yeah, Logan is the only good Fox X-Men movie. Maybe that the first prequel one that they did was okay. This is the only good one. Legit, only good one. I guess Deadpool, but that doesn't really count because Fox didn't give two shits about it. That was more of a Ryan Reynolds thing. Then Fox was like, here's some change we got from some stupid.
Like, I'm gonna make it work. Cool.
Yeah. One of these days, I probably will watch Logan. One of these days, I will watch it, and I'm so happy that regarding the praise that it's gotten, because a lot of the X-Men movies have just not done anything for me.
I don't even consider Logan an X-Men movie. Is that good? I've
heard it's very much not an X-Men movie. I heard it's very much its own genre. I've heard people liken it to a Western.
It's very much that way. It's really just Patrick Stewart and him. And the little girl. Those are the main characters. It's so good.
And I'm like, don't get me wrong. I'm very, very happy to hear that. I think I just got so burned out by the character in the previous movies that I'm just fatigued by Wolverine. I'm going to watch it one day. I'm going to watch it one day.
Spoiler alert, he dies.
Oh yeah, I've read about that.
Yeah. It's very, if you ever seen The Warrior's Way, like an old samurai kind of thing. It's very much like that with the old samurai and the little girl and stuff like that. So it's definitely one of my all-time favorites.
I'm gonna watch it one day.
It might be one of the more movies I actually like. I teared up a little bit a couple times. So there's something in my eye.
Yeah, one of these days I will watch it. Just like I said, I was just left very, very burned out by the character. I think the X-Men movies for me
sense.
I think they were kind of frustrating because a lot of them never felt like ensembles. It just felt like the Wolverine and Friends.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
The Adventures of Wolverine and his mutant buddies.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I blame Bryan Singer and Fox.
Yes. Yeah.
Because
Fox does a good job casting people. They did a terrible job writing scripts.
Yeah, and
I guess, yeah, I agree.
Bryan Singer
towards
the source material was very, very evident.
Yeah, which makes no sense. You can make a comic book movie and then hate like the comic books. It was like, then what are you doing?
Yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah, and I kind of get it was a critical time for that genre and for people to take it seriously, and to a very high extent. One thing that I will give the X-Men franchise is that they made the general public take the genre seriously, and they
don't
did
give him anything. No, stop. Just Brandon, no. You will not give the X-Men franchise anything. He takes it back. He does not give you anything. You ruined a whole thing. The only thing you did right was Saturday morning. Besides that, you did everything wrong.
Yeah. Yeah, those black leather costumes. There's no forgiving that. But all I'm saying is the X-Men movies kind of walked so that the MCU could run. That's all. That's all I'll give Bryan Singer.
No, I give that to Blade.
True.
But there was another one. Oh, Spider-Man. Spider-Man 1 and 2.
Spider-Man was after the first X-Men and in between X2, and I think more credit goes to Sam Raimi because he really went all in with the colorful vibrance of a comic book. So more credit goes to him than Bryan Singer.
I was watching the Amazing Spider-Man yesterday. It's a really, really good movie.
I liked the first one.
I never gave it the time of day.
It's not bad.
Sam Raimi, because I love Sam Raimi and I love what they did. I was like, why are they doing another Spider-Man? But I really sat down and watched it. The acting was great. The story was great. The villain was great. I'm like, man, you guys really went all out. All right, we've been going way too long. This is enough. This is enough.
Right. Well, real quick. So you said my favorite franchise. I was kind of like looking because you get a brain fart. The Freddy Krueger franchise. It's
Nightmare on Elm Street is
yeah.
Awesome.
I mean, even the silly one still kind of was a good scare. So
I got you. Yeah, here you go. Harry Potter.
Yeah, even with the silly ones, the nightmare scenes were still very, very creative and on point.
Yeah.
Harry Potter is it. I still watch. I don't really watch 1 and 2, but 3 to 8, I still watch all the time.
Yeah.
The only Harry Potter I can't watch. Yeah, and I love those too because I love fantasy. I think the only one that I can't watch, probably because I was such a big fan of the book and they took out so many things I wanted to see, was probably Goblet of Fire.
You didn't like that one?
I love that movie. It was so effing long. If they did everything in the book, it would have been 4 hours long. It could not be much more.
I think two things took me out of that movie. Dumbledore being overly aggressive, and Emma Watson's eyebrows. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, rewatch the movie.
Oh my God.
Jesus, those things were like had developed a mind of their own.
That's funny.
There are a couple elements that I liked. Probably the second Triwizard Task was pretty awesome.
The first Triwizard Task was awesome.
I thought they were all pretty.
The horn dragon. What are you talking about? That was awesome.
At some point, you have to ask yourself, the school staff really let this thing get loose and chase a kid all over the school.
That is true.
It's a Triwizard tournament, man. You say people could die all the time.
And then when somebody dies, they're like, "Oh no, what happened?
We didn't see this happening." What?
like none of the parents pulled the kids out of the school after Cedric Diggory turned up at the end of the tournament dead.
Nah, man, that was one of the saddest things I ever seen when the father was wailing. I was like, oh,
I cried in the theater. And what made that hit even harder is they made Amos Diggory such a nice guy in the movie. In the book, he was a total jerk.
But
He
seemed so awesome. Cedric was so awesome. Everything was, and you saw him how he was finally becoming real friends with Harry, because Harry's the one you really care about, and that happening, and it's Voldemort that just kills him on a whim, just because it hurt so bad, and then for the father to see the son dead after he was so proud. Woo!
I was one of the loudest people in the theater when Voldemort died and when Bellatrix died. I'll never forget in the theater for Deathly Hallows Part 2. I'll never forget, like, a kid a couple rows in front of me with his parents. This kid couldn't have been any older than like 7. I remember when the opening credits popped up, you hear this kid go, "You're going down, Voldemort."
That's awesome.
I'm like, I like this kid. This kid's all right.
You're in the back like, yeah, like cheer him on.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. The stuff like that for me, like, always makes going to the theater more fun when people are enjoying it. Like, I remember when Force Awakens first like got released, there was a girl, or actually a family in front of us, and the girl, she had all her Star Wars gears. I think she was in like Jedi kind of robes, and then it pops up with the big like right in the beginning. She let out a squeal, a scream. She was crying, and the movie had just started, and I'm like yes,
Well,
and when Han,
these are universes. This is what these are. These are things that take you to a certain place. Like, you went to see the Star Wars when we went to Florida. When I saw Hogwarts and Dagon Alley, in Universal Studios, it's a world. You're in this world and you're immersed in this world, and it takes you there every time. And every time I'm watching the movie, like I see the movie on, I stop. And I stop what I'm doing and watch it again. And that's when you know something is that special. Same thing with Endgame. I was watching the basketball game, and I stopped it and watching the rest of Endgame. Just because Endgame was on, I was like, man, I know what's going to happen in Endgame, but I got to see it.
Yeah.
I mean, when he grabs the hammer,
when everyone's into it like that, it just hits differently, man. Like, forget Spider-Man: No Way Home. Like when Andrew Garfield took off his mask, I'll never forget the reaction. And then when Tobey Maguire, looking completely unassuming, just kind of stepped through the portal. Just hello. Those experiences, it really makes watching a movie what it very much should be.